Yo. Fellowship's great, just released last season at a terrible time. Yeah, it's actually low key releasing at a terrible time again for me. Not nearly as bad as last time, but I have like a lot of duties as soon as raid testing is announced. I definitely feel like I would have liked to have a week, but I won't, which kind of sucks, but I'll basically be missing some time throughout the week. Which, I mean, it's just fate, bro. Like, it's just literally impossible for me and Fellowship to have, like, a synced up schedule. It just doesn't work. Like, I've literally had nothing to do for the past, like, month and a half. And then, like, as soon as the Fellowship season is released, it's, like, the testing season. There was zero, like, if it was, I would have zero conflict in the last month and a half, and then it's literally just right now it happens to happen. Fellowship in 13 hours, yay. Yeah, for any non-EU players, though, it's going to be in the morning, basically. Like, it's releasing at a completely fucked time for NA. Hello. All right, there's a lot of patch notes. Probably just going to, like, fucking get into it. What time is it released in EU? Same time in NA. It's just at 3 a.m. NA time, so 13 hours from now for everybody. Fellowship Season 3 patch. Early Access Season 3. Right? Except there's 5 parts. It'll be a mess for like 6 hours, so I don't miss anything. I kind of doubt that. Just because it'll be so early NA time that no one will be playing. Well, although there is like way more players on EU in general in Fellowship. All right, here we go. Oh, with the launch of this, cool. New hero Gundi. We know about Gundi. We don't need to read any of this. Unless there's like, I guess, any baseline changes. I expect some hiccups because they are revamping a lot this season. Yeah, I would say it's fair to just a small studio, right? So like pretty fair to expect that. However, it's been I mean, I've played the season decent amount, right? And it all seemed to work pretty well. I mean, the first build on the test was obviously like I mean, some comical shit that was wrong. Like literally on the right side of the like reward tree, like the second capstone dungeon was just in the wrong spot. So like everyone who played that build for like 3 or 4 days, just straight, I think like a week almost, just you were just missing talent points forever. You know, shit like that. But that's like pretty early testing stuff anyway. Doesn't matter. Um, is the new class hard to play? Uh, so relative term, right? I would say after playing it a bit, I got a lot better at it. I would say it's definitely not like super easy. Like there's a lot of stuff. Like I mean, like one of your there's no resource, right? Like your resources are you just have multiple abilities on long cooldowns. There's a lot of. I would say it's simple to pick up. A lot of min maxing. Honestly, no, I feel like it is kind of hard, bro, because I feel like exactly when you should slaughter is like not super intuitive, right? Like rens start falling off and stuff. So like I feel like a lot of times people will delay their slaughter because they think they're gaining value for like 1 or 2 globals, and they're gonna literally lose like 50 ren stacks because they just don't know, you know. And you can only really get good at it by just like playing it more and like actually like feeling out when those are gonna fall off and stuff. Harder or easier than Mara? They're very different. I don't know. I would say Mara is harder before they had cooldown tracking, like when you were trying to like follow your malevolence buffs, follow uh your like I forget the name of the spells now, but like all the stuff that like gives you 100% crit and like 40% damage after your stealth windows, like all that stuff is like once they added buff tracking, Mara got a lot easier. Um Mara harder for hands, Gundi harder for brain. Yeah, I think that's fair. Anyways, let's keep looking here. Speaking of which, by the way, we are looking for a DPS. Fired Up can't play. I think all the liquid people that I usually play with can't really play. Dorky's playing and Laura's playing, but we do need one DPS. The requirement would be that you've played this game ideally on the test for sure. So like you're not just fully catching up, but also like you play a decent amount every season, and also you're playing all day every day, basically, for at least the first few days. I'm not doing applications or anything. Just like I'll figure it out before tomorrow probably. Definitely know what you're doing though. Okay, so let me see if they change any of the talents here. Wait, ho. They changed Grim Harvest. It's no longer just Reaver's Edge. It's now literally all of your abilities have a 6% chance to reset the cooldown of this. And it no longer does 40% damage. It has a 100% crit chance. And I'm assuming it benefits from Grievous crit or whatever. Usually that's the case when something has 100% crit in this game. Okay, that's a lot better, I feel like, because personally, I was like trying to fit more Reaver's Edge into my rotation, but it just kind of, especially when you have like really good gear and a lot of haste, it just felt like that wasn't a thing. Like you were basically just never pressing the button, right? So like reducing the chance, but splitting it up a bunch. I feel like just looking at this, I feel like you will proc this significantly more than you do now. Oh wait, it does reset the cooldown. Okay, I thought it was just the crit. Let's see if Raven's precision is the same. Your Reaver's Edge collects all blood feathers in a big radius. Every time you pick up a collected, it triggers an explosion. I feel like this pretty early actually felt not too bad. It felt like this was like really early on. It's like not a bad 2-pointer. Each time you use Blood Arc, it has a 30% chance to instantly reset its cooldown and have the next Blood Arc have a 100% crit strike chance. This also feels bad late, but maybe early this is better than I thought, because they've been like kind of repeatedly buffing Blood Arc's just like base damage. I think it used to do like pretty poorly. I think this does a bit better now. So maybe that's worth it. The thing is especially early on, like you just have no haste, so you're usually able to buff like everything you want to buff, like outside of your CDs if you have like the CDR weapon. Ooh, they added Sunder Flesh much earlier in the tree. I feel like this is definitely something you'll take early. This is a fake DPS talent. IMO in like hierarchies. It'll show up as a lot of your overall, but it's like fake news, I think. I could be wrong about that, but it feels like a talent that is showing as doing more damage than is actually relevant. But early on, and especially when you're like speed farming stuff early, I feel like this absolutely matters. So pretty good. Crimson Strikes. Your Blood Arc grants you Crimson Strikes, empowering your next ability that applies. This is the same. Right? This is just a good 1-pointer. Especially later on, you end up like Blood Arcing almost everything that matters. Hold on. Ooh. This is new. Your Grim Carve grants you Bloodbath for 3 seconds, causing your big CD to gain 200% cooldown acceleration. Wait, does that mean they changed the 1-pointer that used to make... Wait, your Rain and Blood now causes the directive ability... Oh, so they nerfed Frenzied Rain. I think this is a nerf. This used to give you 25% expertise when you use this button, and that just seemed like so fucking crazy. I'm like doing some math in my head. I mean, this is going to make your slaughters pretty massive. It's not... Right, it's not just... It's not splitting your damage between your direct damage and your rend, right? It's just exclusively adding damage, so you get more rends. I'm not a math guy, but this seems like a nerf. Just in general, unless they also just change the spell. Did they change the spell? For the next 12 seconds, the direct damage of abilities that apply rend and transfer additional 30% of the damage dealt to rend. I mean, I think that's what it always was, but like honestly, like this is good, but the main reason it was good was just like the expertise just felt like such a massive buff, really. Okay, so this is cool. So every time you press Grim Carve, you're getting 6 seconds off your 1.5 minute like banger CD. I mean, so obviously this is going to gain a lot of value if you are also taking this, right? I mean, they would definitely have to nerf some stuff I was using later to consider using this, I think, because you're like pretty talent point locked. Maybe it's a little bit more competitive with Crimson Strikes. I feel like early you're going to feel a lot better. Isn't that 6 seconds off? Yeah, per Grim Carve, and obviously you're going to be resetting it a lot more. It's also like your best button to press pretty much all the time when it's up, so. Okay. I feel like with these Grim Carve changes, the cloak is just like way fucking better. I mean, it's obviously good already, but... Okay, Darkening Hearts. Your Heart Splitter deals 100% more direct damage and has 100% critical strike chance against targets with 30 or less. And they don't mention Grievous crit here, which is what I was expecting this to do, which means that like it's just not on this patch note, but it exists in game like it has. They made it a 2-pointer now, though. It used to be a 1-pointer, and it really stacked well with Oath Shatter in general. But it looks like they also changed this again, maybe? Wait, no, this is what it was last build, or at least when I was doing the sneak peek bullshit. Definitely was nerfed from when it originally existed, though. Murder of Crows. Your Rupture grants you 2 stacks of Murder of Crows for 12 seconds. Your next ability that consumes... Rend consumes 1 stack of Murder of Crows and always triggers a spirit refund. That doesn't seem good enough. Right? Yeah. Massacre. Each Rend consumed by slaughter grants you spirit. I never thought this was that good. Maybe it has like some synergy. There's a lot of like strong spirit blessings, so maybe there's some bullshit with that. But yeah, I don't know. Can you explain the damage profile of Gundi compared to Mara? No. I can, but I'm just like doing this right now. Your Rupture cooldown is reduced by 0.4 seconds each time you collect a Blood Feather. That I think is gonna... This never seemed good enough to me, especially with the CDR weapon. And especially with the cloak. But maybe, who knows, there's some more talents later that make that make sense. This is probably still going to be really good. Your Rend deals its damage 10% faster. I've never really understood this 1-pointer. They've kind of just like kept this in. Didn't this used to be 20% faster too? But I never really... Like, to me... This does it mean that your Rend stacks fall off 10 seconds faster? In which case, it would actually make it like kind of harder to get like crazy slaughters in some cases if you like keep getting resets. Yeah, I think this is a nerf. I think this used to be more, and like I never took this ever, which makes me think that like maybe I'm wrong about it, and maybe it was actually like really OP. But I've just been afraid of it because I just I don't know. It just seems like. Just seems bad? I don't know. Okay, so Blood Craze looks like it's still the same. Yep, it's just whenever you pop your 150 stack, you pop the fuck off. Oath Shatter. When the direct damage portion of Heart Splitter critically strikes, it causes Exsanguinate to explode, dealing damage near your target. So that's what it was after the like most recent change. And then just in general, your Heart Splitter will just have always 30% increased crit chance. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little up in the air on this. It does do a decent amount of your overall. And I feel like as you play more, you're going to want to have like more like Heart Splitter focus, like single targety, funnely type stuff. Like you want your Heart Splitter to do a lot of damage. There's a few things you could take here to amplify that. But like Carnage seems like it's actually so required. And Blood Craze also feels really required. But maybe I'm like hyping up Blood Craze too much. But like it's really hard to get all 3 3-point talents, right? Just straight up. It's a lot of points. It is most of your talent points, right? And they changed a lot of these other ones to be pretty strong. So I could see maybe Oath Shatter not being the play, especially early before you get like a lot of good stats. Like your stats are going to be kind of fucking crazy at some point, and your character's going to feel pretty wild. And like once I think you have a lot more stats, maybe you have a pretty high level of purple, this will feel a lot better. But like Carnage, I think is better. I'm not sure about Blood Craze versus Oath Shatter. During a sneak peek, I took Oath Shatter first. I'm a little up in the air on this, I think. Okay, and then let's see. Superior Serration. Your Blood Arc's serrated edge grants an additional 10% damage applied to Rend. Okay. Did they get rid of the thing where you get an extra stack of it? I think so. Your Reaver's Edge and Grimcarve have a 40% chance to grant you Ancestral Instinct. This feels terrible. I just, like, once you get good gear, you just never press Reaver's Edge, so I just feel like this is just such low uptime, personally. But, I don't know. I could see someone arguing that it's actually good. But it just seems like it's just not. The numbers aren't quite there for that. Harvester's Toll. Oh, they reworked this. This used to be in the second row, and it used to be... Like, I think when you used Odin Blood up to 30 stacks, it gave you, like, a buff. I think the point of it was to maybe not just do, like, 150 stack blasting gameplay, like you used more frequent 30 stacks. But I just didn't really like the gameplay of that, so I never played it. Maybe it was good, maybe it wasn't, because they just changed the talent, but... So Rupture giving you 7.5% damage increase for 10 seconds actually seems pretty fucking good. Because, like, just the way you do your opener right now, that just seems like, I mean, you're getting 7.5% buff for, like, everything in your opener. Sorry, my dog was coughing a little bit. Okay, so that's what that is. So, okay, where are we putting our points right now? Is there, like, a little thing? Usually, Method had, like, a little fellowship situation, right? Is that updated? Can I mess around with the Gundi talents? Is this dead? This looks like it's dead. Gundi's not even on here. And if it's dead, it almost certainly doesn't have, like, talents updated. Yeah, okay, fuck that. All right, does anyone have, like, a... Is there a website where I could do, like, Gundi talents real quick? If you have plenty of spirit, you can easily pop 50 to 100 Odin Bloods pretty consistently. Yeah, I think the main thing is you just want, assuming there's no deaths or anything, you want to have 150 stacks every single time you pop your ult. Try Fellowship Guide, and then you link something that just doesn't show up. Okay, so Fellowship Guide. Fellows Guide. Heroes. Also, sweet. Okay, let's do it. Regular style. So we have 15 points to spend. Carnage required, that's 3. Grim Harvest required, that's 5. Wait, go to tools on top. All right, tools. Talent calculator. But do they have Gundi though? If there's no Gundi, then we're not gaining any information here. Who the fuck is this? 14 points, not 15. Oh yeah, my bad. Still nothing. All right, Grim Harvest 2, Carnage 3. Order of importance. I need to think about this. I want to say Bloodbath, honestly. That seems pretty sick. Especially with way more resets, realistically, because, like, you were just never pressing Reaver's Edge. So I'm going to say that for 6. Think Crimson Strikes for 7. Let's do Blood Craze for 10. And then we have 4 points to spend. Frenzied Rain and Oath Shatter is an option? No, because... Okay. Dude, Darkening Hearts being a 2-point makes the Oath Shatter Darkening Hearts combo feel like... Dude, that's actually like really interesting. I actually don't know where I'm spending the last bit of points. I mean, you can't get. I mean, I guess you could drop Blood Craze. I just feel like it seems pretty good. Carnage plus Grim Harvest. Yeah, I mean, we already have that. Hmm. Harvester's Toll is also interesting. Like, I feel like if you don't take Oath Shatter Darkening Hearts, you actually like, can you fill up those points that feel pretty good outside of what I just mentioned? Like Harvester's Toll seems decent. Superior Serration maybe, but maybe not really. Maybe Darkening Hearts even alone is just like, if you're just tabbing it around. See, here's one thing I found kind of interesting about Darkening Hearts in general. Is like when you're playing Oath Shatter, usually you're hitting a mob that has a lot of HP. It depends on the affix, but like you're usually hitting a mob with a lot of HP. And with Darkening Hearts, you feel like you want to tab target and hit things that have less than 30% HP. But because of that, yes, you're hitting them really hard and you're giving them a lot of Ren stacks, but you're not actually exsanguinating them a lot, right? Because their Ren stack, assuming you weren't hitting them already, is like kind of bad. So if you want to utilize that, the gameplay is you kind of want to be building up on a target that's going to hit 30%, and then like you have a lot of Ren stacks on them, and then Oath Shatter feels really good to make use of Darkening Hearts. But like with enough crit, maybe you just don't play Darkening Hearts. Like I feel like the nerf to 2 points here actually makes this a lot worse. And maybe you play Oath Shatter with like Superior Serration or something, or Harvester's Toll. Yeah, I guess also Harvester's Toll makes a lot more sense with Slayer's Grin now. Yeah, there's a few angles. I feel like the ring is a lot worse now, personally, with this change. I feel like you just want to have the cloak, and if you don't have the cloak, you're just so sad, actually. I feel like cloak is just so insanely bis now. Okay, that's enough looking at that. Let's move on. By the way, is there an MDT updated for the season with the new like mobs and everything? That's a lot of work, so I'm kind of assuming no, but I would want to look at like some routes today maybe, because some of those mobs suck bad. Okay, so 2 new dungeons, we've already played those. And then the new endgame challenge Pinnacle dungeon. How's this going to work? Has 3 difficulties, normal, hard, and nightmare, with additional mechanics unlocking with each difficulty. Designed as a true test of skill, they're the new category of high difficulty content. Unlike regular dungeons, they're a weekly challenge. End of dungeon chest and Pinnacle dungeons can contain any item from any of the other dungeons, and the number of items dropped is determined by the difficulty. Okay, the first time each week that you complete a Pinnacle dungeon on each specific difficulty. Okay, I was wondering if like you wouldn't complete it on normal because you wanted to do it on like nightmare, but yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm kind of excited for this. This is what actually doing this like pretty early is one of the reasons that I want to kind of wake up at like 3 a.m. today. By the way, waking up at 3 a.m. would mean just not going to sleep, which is very cursed. But I do kind of want to do that because I just kind of want to do the Pinnacle dungeon early before like people know how to do it, because that's just like kind of my shit, you know? I'd love to figure this out. You're actually insane if you stay up. Yeah. Okay, rewards. So it's just giving you a shitload of like gold, materials, marks, and supplies. That's kind of hype. Not a huge fan of supplies this season. It seems like you get like 10 times more supplies than you can spend on the 2 daily cooldown things. Like when you buy them for the first time, they feel amazing, but like, I don't know. It feels like you just are doing nothing with hundreds of supplies. Pinnacle dungeons award bloodstones. There's 3 different kinds, each dropping their respective... Oh, this is how you get those. Upgrades, yeah, we saw this before. So basically, you just take an item, it makes it Regal 315 with completely maxed out tempers, but the most important thing is that they keep existing modifiers, and then they add modifiers, hopefully based on existing, which is also kind of how just upgrading works in general in this game, but... Okay, the Season 3 wanted to refresh the dungeon experience and make the dungeons feel exciting. They received updates. Yeah, we know that. Enemy updates. All right, let's look at some of these. Oh, I didn't even... I thought I recognized it. So, pillagers no longer gain max health with stacks. They now just take increased damage per stack in addition to the previous increases in damage and haste. That's, like, super nice. What are tempers? That's, like, replacing the eye level upgrade things, basically. Is Regal legendary? It's not legendary, but it's, like, the best you can get on any regular item. It's a red color. Black Mist Cutthroats Backstab now teleports behind random players other than the tank. Yeah, we saw this. They basically made the Cutthroats a lot easier to understand. Annihilation has received a large increase in damage. Sick. Whispers had their health reduced, but more score. Okay. Yeah, people weren't pulling those enough, I guess. True Sight. Well, we did this before. Oh, so it's actually 3 times now. Or maybe it was always 3 times. Okay, you take damage once you find the enemy if you have the buff, and then also you gain a big buff for 50 seconds. Ooh, Storm Shield nerf. That's nice. Yeah, Storm Shield on a high enough key is fucking gnarly, bro. Like, you just actually die. You just die. It just fucking kills you. Blood Shards now do damage equal to 1.2% of the dying enemy's max HP. Okay, was there some kind of... There's still a bug with this, I think. Like, even during the sneak peek, when I killed bosses with blood shards, you would just instantly die. Like the second boss in not Ransack, what's the other one? Heart of Tazari. You just like, I don't know if it's all the plants or whatever, but like as soon as the boss despawns from dying, you just instantly die. It's amazing. So hopefully, I mean that wouldn't be addressed in a thing like this, but just a baseline nerf of it I think is good. It's definitely pretty nasty. This I think was already in the test. Cool. New faction. Cool. UI, don't care about this, don't care about this, don't care about that, don't care about any of this, don't care about that. Communities are designed to make it easier to find your people, organize groups, and stay connected. Oh, I didn't mess with this in the test at all. Dude, we need to get a community of people that are going to join whatever key you're doing and are not going to run it down. Someone work on that. Okay, so cool community, Discord integration. Don't care about that. UI, yeah. Cool. Seasonal challenges, and you get pets, and I don't care about any of this. Don't care. We reduced the number of difficulties in each league to improve queue times and to lend more clarity to progression. That was smart. I don't think this is any different than what I already knew. The league difficulty scaling has been adjusted with the intention of making capstone dungeons a goal to work towards. Yeah. Got it. Ooh, this is good. I think we only played to Eternal 10 during one of the resets. I didn't play any higher than that. But I mean, this is great. The idea is like you basically never want to be choosing to like push your Eternal score and then feel like, okay, this is my personal opinion because I know some people look at this differently. I actually think it's chill if like Eternal 1 farming exists, right? But I don't think it should be a massive game. Like if the best thing to do on a season is get to Eternal 1 and then farm Eternal 1 for literally days and then push, that's bad. I think like an ideal cadence would be like you spend maybe 75% of your day in high Eternal dungeons, but dude, it's actually so nice to just kick back and just speed run some really low level Eternals if it's good for something like either gold or a certain mat or gems or literally anything if you're like gated by that resource to just change up how you're playing the game. I'm a fan of that. I know some people are like you should always just be doing the highest key. That's fine with me, but like when I'm playing a game like Diablo 4 for example, I don't want to be doing the pit all day. You know, I like actually doing hell tides. I like doing bosses. I think like it's nice to have some variety actually in what you do. But I know why they're trying to combat that. But this seems like a good change in that direction personally. Like having like dude getting like fucking dude doing an eternal 30 and hitting fucking 5 pieces in your bags, like holy moly, bro. That is fucking crazy value. Uh Max, would you guys maybe need a tank instead? I've been playing in the highest keys every season with Ellesmere, KSP, and the likes. I think Dorky said he's playing, although I would definitely like play because like Dorky will just randomly leave. Like he'll like go do WoW dungeons or whatever. Uh, so I would be around for that. I can't like fully replace Dorky if he wants to play, but like the reality is, I think like 1 or 2 days into this, I'm going to be playing a lot more than he is, and eventually, I mean, that's just how the last couple of tests have gone. So I would be around, but I'm not willing to like fully replace him. He said he wants to game, so. Increased currency scaling. Eternal 10 drops approximately 2x gold compared to Eternal 1. Eternal 20 drops approximately 4x gold compared to Eternal 1. W. Yeah. Yeah, great changes. A new mount, Indomitable Chicken, has been added to the star map as a reward for achieving... Wait, you get a chicken mount? Oh. That's that shit I do like. I'm not a huge fan. I never even swapped to the spider or whatever the fuck the mount was last season. Like that's like epic and everything, but like, bro, give me a dumbass looking mount. That's what I need. Completing this will also give you a beetle. I don't care. Pinnacle dungeon, you'll receive a mount, the blood shard elemental. Cool. Don't care about the avatar. Don't care about any of this. How do you get my friend code in that case? I mean, I'll be live all day, every day, so probably just like toss that shit in here and you'll be good. I'm always looking for people. Improve matchmaking. Got it. Matchmaker's boon. Okay. Each time a player uses the game to matchmake into a group and complete a dungeon in the group, they receive Matchmaker's boon. This grants a 25 increase in gold. As long as the group stays together, the boon will persist. Anytime the group is altered by the group leader, all players lose Matchmaker's boon. And that's if a player is invited, kicked, or whatever. Okay, so... Oh, wait. If a player leaves on their own accord, the remaining players will keep their Matchmaker's boon and can queue up in the Matchmaker again to keep it. This is fucking real, by the way. Whether you're playing in a group or solo... Ideally, you want to have this buff 100% of the time, and that does mean gaming it a little bit. So, like, what our team is planning on doing is going to be really hard to actually matchmake together in the first, contender, I think it's called. So, what we're planning on doing is like blasting through contender, completely skipping adept, go straight through the champion, go straight to champion, and as soon as we're in champion, we're going to basically split our group half and half, queue at the same time, and hope that we queue into each other and just keep slamming that. Because once you're actually out of contender, I think you just 25% increase to gold materials is going to be so value once the tempers start getting more expensive. So you just kind of have to have this. That being said, I think this is a great system. Obviously, it's being abused a little bit because it's just really OP, but this is a good thing for them to do. Like, if you are pugging in this game, way too many times do you pug, do one dungeon, and then people leave and queue again. But, like, why wouldn't you just keep playing with that team if you timed the dungeon, you know? And it just makes the game a lot easier for everyone. There's less queues. So, it's good that it exists, but also, I will be abusing this. Because, like, I don't know. I feel like there's another way to do this, honestly. I think this could exist, but maybe it could also just, if you complete a dungeon with the same 4 players and then you queue into a new dungeon, not queue, like you just do a new dungeon, shouldn't you just get this? Like, why do we have to do some queue bullshit to get a 25% increase in materials? You know? Like, if the idea is to keep groups together, if you got your group together just not through the queue system, shouldn't you just get this buff anyway? I feel like maybe that's something that should be looked at. Because it's just going to be super annoying before we start playing every time that we have to, like, intentionally queue into each other to get this bonus, so. But then it's not a buff? Huh? You aren't matchmaking if you don't use the queue. Listen. If they add that, this doesn't go away. Like, this should still encourage people who are queuing to stay in their same group, which is, I believe, and I could be wrong, I maybe haven't thought about it every way, I think that is the sole purpose this exists, is to increase the likelihood that a group that match makes together and completes a dungeon will now stay in the group instead of leaving. That's why this exists, right? You don't have to mess with that at all. So the goal is they're trying to get you to play with the same 4 players more than one dungeon. That's the goal. But if you're doing that without the queue system, I don't see why they wouldn't just give you that buff as well, right? Unless the other goal of it is to just get more people queuing. But like, obviously, if you have the ability to play with the same 4 players from your friends list, you're going to do that. And now we're just forced to like spam try to queue into each other and queue dodge people, and that doesn't seem like the way to do it. So I don't know. There's something should be done about this, I think. But well, at beginning of the season, it's not too hard to do, especially if you get ahead of the pack and you get into higher leagues early. It'll be really easy to do that. In my head, it's to make Pugger. The reason this exists is to make Puggers not be turbo disadvantaged. Okay, maybe like that could be a side benefit, but I mean, you're just always gonna make use of it if you can. Like this is just so insane that you're gonna find a way to just queue into each other and do it. 4-man pre-mades get a buff on completion of dungeon 2. Yeah, I mean that to me, I don't understand how that would be bad. The only thing that would maybe do is that would slightly reduce the amount of people in the queues, but I feel like if you're able to play with a 4-man, you're gonna do that no matter what. Either way, odd comp. So basically, here's how odd comp works. If you guys are queuing and you can't find like too many, like a tank or a healer or a DPS, it still queues you into a dungeon. This has gone through many iterations. So on the test, odd comp was actually insanely OP. Like there was a couple of versions of it that were really good, but they were, at least initially, they were literally all faster than Holy Trinity. I don't believe that's the case anymore. There's still one that has a cool interaction, I think, which is one DPS, 1 tank, and 2 healers. Because you can play the 2 like aura healers, right? The Aeona and Sylvie, so you get the stam plus the stagger. And that interaction is just kind of strong. Or Vigor, I mean, either one. I think just combining Aeona and any other healer is just really good. And it just makes it so you can just kind of like never die. However, it's probably slower. Let me look at... They don't actually have a... They gave some examples of this. But I wonder actually what that looks like with 1 tank, 1 DPS, and 2 healers. I think that's really strong. The thing is this season, like, very different from last season. If you were a DPS, you got insta-queues last season because there was a new tank and a new healer. But I feel like DPS queues, if odd comp didn't exist, would be... Look, I'm going to say this right now. If y'all are spamming Gundi this season and you're planning on pugging, there's going to be some times where your queue pops and there's going to be 4 fucking bleed boys in there. Because it's just the new class, right? So I will say, though, when we've done it without tanks, it was really fun. It was, like, really fun, actually. Like, Fired Up and I would, like, every time you'd slaughter, you'd pull aggro and everything, so you were kind of, like, taunt swapping. It was really fun. All right. Odd comp and progression. Odd comp is completely new way to interact. We've applied some restrictions. It'll be completely able to progress the game without limits, but will gain dungeon scores expected in your group, but they'll not be entered into leaderboards beyond Eternal 20. We want to make sure that Holy Trinity stays the core competitive experience. If odd comp is something you enjoy, plans just out a separate... But you can still, like, farm with it and stuff. And, like, low-key, who gives a fuck about the leaderboard? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get everything. I'm a very competitive person. We literally race to be the best guild in World of Warcraft and do that sometimes. But, like, I don't give a fuck about the leaderboard in this game. Like, who cares? Like, I'm just trying to... What makes me want to play this game is to make my guy fucking huge and just more and more huge every dungeon. And that is what this game does really well. So I don't really give a fuck about this at all. Honestly, if you want to like farm an odd comp just to make your guy huge, I think that'll still be fine. All right, patch 2 or part 2. You've made it to part 2, either by completing all previous content or by skipping ahead. Either way, you... Okay, cool. New itemization. Item power potential in here. Okay, so I haven't played with power potential. That wasn't in what I played. But that's nice because I think item level is like a little weird. It definitely matters, but like you could, for example, have a lower item level piece with more tempers, and it would be better than a higher eye level piece. Or tempers are equivalent, but like you god rolled some blessings or something, and like the lower eye level piece is way fucking better. So like this will kind of help that. I still think the power score will do one, or power potential will still be a little difficult to understand because like the game probably doesn't know which blessings are better than others for which class, right? So like it'll miss that almost certainly. But definitely still a lot better. All I know, all I know by the way is if you guys are if you can temper anything basically at any time, it's extremely fucking OP. Unless they changed how like getting refunds back on certain things, especially early, man. Like tempers are just worth so much power. Cool. Item rarities are no longer locked to a specific league. Got it. I will say though, oh wait, this does. Okay, I was wondering why I looted no regals the last time I played. And it's because they don't even drop until Paragon now. Dude, on the first time I played the reset, I got a regal item out of my first Sailor's Abyss. And then this last time we played, I'm like, bro, I'm hell unlucky. But it turns out you just couldn't even possibly loot them until being in Paragon. So that's hype. An item rarity determines what role common items roll base stat. Uncommon items gain the first random stat, which can be any of these. If you roll stamina, blow yourself up, by the way. Rare items gain first modifier slot. That can be a blessing trait, gem essence, bonus stats, set bonus. Set bonuses, I think... I don't think set bonuses can roll on items... Basically, set bonuses are based on the item that dropped, and if they are from a dungeon and this item would have had a set bonus on it, it will always roll it, but you cannot possibly roll it on any other piece. I think. I'm not making that up, is how that works. I mean, it kind of mentions that here, but I think it doesn't mention that I don't think you can get set bonuses from items that wouldn't have had them anyway. But yeah, a lot of the stuff is good. I think Gem Essence early is actually really strong. I think early especially... I haven't actually looked, like, maybe there's certain blessings that are, like, super crazy OP, and maybe you guys can actually let me know that here. Especially any Gundi players. Because, like, basically how I was playing is, I'm like, okay, I don't know exactly which blessings are super OP that you would want 4 of, but I felt like you want haste on every single piece. Like, it felt like haste was just... If I could have double haste as my first 2 modifiers on every piece, I would feel fucking incredible. But that's just like a very basic way of looking at it. I'm sure some blessings are probably better. Because it feels like a lot of the traits, even the major traits, are like hella nerfed, honestly. Set items always have their set bonus in the first modifier slot. Weapons and relics always have respectively the first modifier slot. Epic items gain a second modifier. Heroic items, which are yellow, gain a second random stat. And then Regal gains the third. Important, by the way, quick little knowledge nuke if you guys didn't play the test. When you use the items in the game to craft a item up, let's say you're crafting a blue to a perp, right? It will always, if it can, copy the first modifier. So if your modifier is like your Bis Blessing and you upgrade it, it will get a second thing of that Bis Blessing. However, I don't believe any item can have more than 2 of the same thing. But that was like, that's super important to know, I think, because I think a lot of people might make the mistake early in a season of like looting a blue or purple item and be like, my current one's red, so this thing can't be better for me. But like, it's going to be important to like put certain items into your bank that might actually high roll, and like blues are really fucking good crafting bases for a item that you might want to use, right? So crafting changes. They're basically just going to explain this. I already know how all this works, so I'm not going to look at it. Oh! Hold on. They totally changed this, right? Tempering fully replaced. Yeah, we know that, but so you can only temper the contender piece 1 time. Okay, so this is going to turbo cook my plan to start the season, I think. Right? Because like before, when you could temper contender items 5 times, bro, I feel like the only way to play was like contender 1, then you do the capstone, then you do contender 1 until you have literally every item tempered up to 5 fully upgraded, and then you do the adept capstone, fully never run another adept dungeon, then you go champion. If you can do the champion capstone, great, but if not, farm champion a little bit, and then you just like start playing normally in Paragon, because basically an untempered champion piece was as good as like a max tempered contender. So this will change that for sure. Every time you jump a tier, that new item has a much better chance of being better. I still feel like you're kind of like rushing. I still feel like Contender 1's really fucking good until you get every item, though. Because even just, like, filling out a slot is still, like, so value. I kind of feel like you're still going to do the same thing, honestly. Kess. Yo, Kess, you want a game? Aren't you a DPS in this game? I need a DPS for my group. Someone who doesn't have a team and can play all day, every day, and does not have a job. You cannot have a job. No wages. Tempering. Cool. Each temper adds +1 to the item's base stats. Which is also important for, like, getting correct bases, because, like, I feel like as Gundi, it's really important with how strong tempering is that, like, the item you're buffing has a stat that is really good for you. Like, for example, I want haste to roll when it turns green and yellow, and I want haste on the base item. Maybe I'm overvaluing haste, but I just feel like the more haste you get on that class, the better. I don't know when that stops exactly. What time are you starting? Right now it's looking like 9 or 10 a.m. tomorrow. Although I do need to make sure the cat wakes up for that. But there's like a 1% chance I'll just stay up all night and start at 3 a.m. Necklaces. Yeah, so necklaces basically now, if you haven't played this season and are looking for like a little knowledge bomb, necks are fucking wild, dude. Like, just wild strong. Yeah. As soon as you get a purple neck, you're never dead for a while at the start of a season. Western, Eastern, always Western time, Pacific time. Legendaries. Oh yeah, legendaries are sick, dude. The power spike when you loot your first legendary is crazy, even if it stinks. Like, even if it's a bad legendary, which I don't know how many bad legendaries there are anymore, but I mean, dude, just these 3 things in general are just fucking wild good. Traits. Yeah, but they've been changed a lot. Do I have you on Discord? I'll add you to the group. The fuck is your Discord name? Anyways, Brave Machinations, Martial Initiative, Amethyst Splinters. I'm not going to read all these, to be honest with you. Has anyone who's done a lot of, like, research on this know, like, what the good ones are? I can tell you that Visions of Grandeur feels like absolute dog shit compared to what it used to. Because it used to be able to go up a lot more. Now you get, like, a decent amount of value from 1 point, but it just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel amazing. Because, like, now the upgrade ranks reduce your weapon CD when you press it. Every trait has been nerfed in half all the way. Your Discord is Kess Live. Okay. Our Heroic Hunter's Focus. This one is very good. Even after the nerfs to this, I mean, obviously, most of the nerfs to these that involve stats are just, like, accommodating for the new stat values. There's basically just, like, a stat squish. Like, 10 haste last season doesn't mean shit, but, like, now it's like, holy fuck, log in online. Your abilities have a chance to grant you a second hidden power. Okay, hidden power still exists. Most of the defensive traits that are super OP are no longer actually on, like, your weapons anymore. They're, like, on your neck. There are still a few good ones, but, like, all the, like, really good ones are on your neck. Blessings. So Herald is basically, you just start with more ult energy. I'm like really conflicted on this. Your ult is very strong, but spending 4 modifiers just to get 50 on start feels like a big investment, personally. But it really is nice to have ults more, so maybe it's strong. I also think other classes start with their ult still, right? Like I think you get 50 points towards your ult with Rhyme, for example, with the old legendary instead of 100, and then like combining it with this would be good. My toxic trait is thinking that it would feel amazing if every class just started their dungeon with their ult. But I do see the issues with that, where you would just go so fucking massive huge, and if you wiped, you would just pull again. But I feel like you do that anyway, so it would just maybe feel good. I don't know. So I think Sinister, depending on your spec, very strong. I think with the old blood, I forget the name of it, but where you were like doing 5 of your like single target finisher, and then like it was critting. I feel like this was really good for that. I don't know how strong this is now, though, for my class at least. The Wayfarer seemed really nice, actually. Seemed like pretty good uptime on haste, honestly, per point. I don't know how strong that'll be, but yeah. The Celestial, your power abilities have a chance to grant you 1 spirit point towards your ability. That seems really bad just because it's such a low chance, personally. Like, having 4 of these on your gear, which is, like, worth so much value, by the way. I'm actually pretty sure if instead of having 4 rolls on your gear of the Celestials, if you actually just had 4 spirit stat rolls, I think you would actually generate your spirit ability faster, at least for my class. I don't know. Trickster, your power abilities grant you 10% crit chance for 4 seconds. This feels pretty good on my class. Your power abilities grant 3% increased power for every 3% spirit you have. Yeah, there's a lot of really good spirit bonuses. Spirit on my class feels good, but I don't know if it's better than haste or crit, kind of, with a few interactions. But this one, the Philosopher, makes you really want to run this. Each time you use a core ability, there's a 20% chance you drain this. This was, I don't think the Heretic, I mean, it depends on scaling. I don't know how good this will be, but it felt really good in odd comp without a healer. Like, fucking crazy good. The Philosopher, your major ability grants you 0.2% haste, expertise, and crit for every 4% spirit you have. And if you have 4 ranks of this, it's every 1% spirit you have, up to a maximum of 10% each. So that's when you pop like your CD, you basically get 10% all stats besides spirit, which I think that is just like really fucking good. I don't think there's any other way to look at that. It's just really good. Especially because like this is really, you only need 10% spirit with 4 ranks of this to even get this. And if you happen to stack spirit, you don't even need that much rank of this to get full benefit, right? So definitely very good. Or no, it's 50%. It's a lot more spirit. I'm dumb. Hard dumb. Hold on. 0.2%. Yeah, you would need 50% spirit with 4 ranks of this. Are you really going to have that much spirit? Well, I guess you could play the talent. Okay, I need some Gundi geniuses to tell me what you guys think is good, because I kind of have my own thing, but we can talk about it after. Oh, Dorky said holy mad early. Okay, I might need a backup. Their basic abilities increase the power of your next power ability. This seems really bad for my class. This is also just totally based on tuning. The Vainglorious. Your basic abilities deal an additional 100% main stat damage. W. Feels really bad for my class too. Your major abilities gain 12% cooldown acceleration. This bonus is increased by 0.1% for every 1% haste you have. That doesn't... I can start at 3 a.m. if you want. Ooh. That seems like it's a really bad idea. Because, like, for me, I wouldn't sleep at all. But I do kind of want to do it because I'm just really excited. It's probably a terrible idea. You're right. But sometimes you got to make terrible ideas. Or you got to do terrible things. Well, that's not true. It's all good. Okay. Don't really care about that. All right, so gems now, there's only 4 slots. And the gem cap is gone. So, like, ideally, in a season, you're going to end up running 4... of the like giga gems, which I think is 500 each, so you'll have a total of 2,000 gem energy, but that's not including... There's a few other things. So you can roll gem essence on your gear. However, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like it's not actually good to roll on your gear late game. However, early it feels kind of good. But yeah. So I don't know if anyone has like teched out what does 4 flawless gems even give you? So three flawless gems of one type will give you 10 of a thing, and then you'd be 50 off gaining this. However, there is a set bonus you can get in the game. It's a new set bonus that gives you 25% extra gem essence, which again will feel really bad early, but late game that might actually be really sick. 4 flawless lets you get 2 10s if you have the gem power set bonus. Okay, personally, I feel like that is going to be required. Like you're just going to want that. Or if you run 4 flawless with the gem set and you only need 2 gem mods to run 10-6-6. Okay. But then at that point, like the gem set mods are going to feel pretty bad if you look at like what they could possibly be as a roll, I think. Thinking about how many total 3 modifiers versus how many pieces. Don't you have 4 plus Lego? I think it's just 4 no matter what. Yeah, they made a bunch of changes to some stuff. Most of it is stat squish related. Does any Gundi people who are maining Gundi and played it during testing, do you guys know what gem sets you want to run? Like, my heart tells me, at least before, it was purple because of the interaction with critting that ability. It was like perp for that, and then I feel like blue just feels good on every character, honestly. Like, that character's old. Like, I was thinking about playing yellow, but just because haste felt so good, but I feel like blue is, like, in a way better than yellow even for haste, because you just have more ult up time. Spirit isn't even bad, and you're in your ult more often, which also means you have giga haste, right? So, like, I don't know. You either go 4 times tier 6 with gem set or crank up the blue to 10. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay. And they made a bunch of changes here. None of this matters. Okay, part 3 hero update. I'm going to skip heroes I don't care about. So be ready for almost all of them to be skipped. Read this on your own if you play some other shit. I'm probably only going to read Mara, to be honest with you. Unless it matters for the group, you know? Like, for example, if they made, like, a major grand melee change. Oh, it looks like they kind of did. They nerfed the uptime of it. But, like, stuff that, like, your class does, you know? I'm going to add Kess Live on Discord. Okay. So Helena had a bunch of talent changes. That's really cool. Same with Mako. Maybe, I think every class in the game probably. Xavian, W, skipping all of it. Loving life right now. Mara, okay. Lock in. I don't think I'm playing Mara. I'm kind of Gundi pilled. However, I could be swayed back. I really do enjoy this class. Mara's very fun. I'm a huge Malevolence Andy. Like, if I'm not playing a build where, like, my finishers feel like they're hitting, like, a fucking nuke, I don't want to play this at all. Like, a bleed build, get the fuck away from me with that. I would never play this dog shit. And then I think what people were doing on testing was they were doing, like, some kind of mixed build of, like, bleed plus this, but you weren't making use of, like, Assassin's Guile or something. And it just kind of sounded like not amazing from what I wanted to do. So I will kind of read through this, though. So energy regen increased by a lot baseline. Energy bonus regen from Seething Poison reduced by 20%. Okay, so I don't know if this is to account for something else, but I feel like this will feel really nice because you won't need as many energy boosting things to just function, maybe. I didn't play this at all in testing. That's actually not true. I played through Contender on Mara, which is basically nothing, but energy bonus regen from Seething Poison is reduced to 20%. Mara's new passive effect, Creeping Death, on Hemorrhaging Strike, Caustic Poison, Seething Poison, Volatile Poison, and Corrosive Spill, causing their poison and bleed damage to be increased by an amount equal to Mara's current haste. Okay, so trying to make haste better. But I feel like haste is good if you're running a bleed build anyway. But, like, haste makes me want to actually blow up and die if I'm using it on, like, Malevolence, right? Due to performance issues on large pulls, Volatile Poison no longer calls all the poison deals still large eruption at the end. Reflect damage no longer breaks Mara out of stealth. Oh, that's fun. Okay. This is different, right? Red Ledger is crit now instead of haste. But only up to a maximum of 10% crit strike chance. I mean, that's basically if you're playing Gushing Blood, you just permanently have 10% crit, right? That's the idea. Except on bosses. Except on bosses, you're also gaining a decent amount of value just from the one thing. So that just seems like that's really value. All right, I'm already kind of hating my life. All good. Corrosive Spill, do they change this at all? Kind of a boring talent. Assassin's Guile. This seems exactly the same. Huge fan of this. This is so fun. Assassin's Guile is sick. The changes are written below, so you don't have to look through everything. Okay. Oh, you're right. Wait, so I mean, Corrosive Spill is just, like, massively buffed, right? Not only does it scale with haste, but it's just baseline. It's just way higher. That's going to feel... I do like that a lot, though, because 2 talent points is a lot. And before, whenever you saw the pool happen, you're like, okay, I'm doing damn, but now it's going to be like, oh boy, you know? Feed the Queen. Shadowy clones no longer interact with Feed the Queen. Is that the you get guaranteed crit? Wait. Oh, no. That's the one where it's like basically your funnel talent, right? Wait, so when you're in your ult and you have max Feed the Queen after Fan of Knivesing, your ult just doesn't do as much damn? That feels not amazing. But wasn't there like some kind of issue with this previously? Like wasn't it because of some legendary last season that like made it so like your clones would come out of nowhere while mobs had bleed on them, and is it because of that interaction? I don't know. Deadly Scheme has been changed to every 5 energy you spend was 10 energy you gain. You gain 1 stack, and at 40 stacks was 20 stacks. Your next Queen's Fang and Arachnid Assault has a 100% critical strike chance. Yeah, basically it's just more easy to use, right? Same frequency and power, more granularity. To be able to show the correct number of stacks, spending with 35 and 45 energy. Yeah, okay. New talent Macabre stratagem. You no longer get like your Giga reset button, but instead, whenever you use it, it just gives you 10 seconds of your ult. I used this very briefly when I started playing Mara at the beginning of the test, and definitely felt super fucking amazing at the beginning of a dungeon. Maiden's Doom. Fix a tooltip error that was stating the effect triggers on enemies below 35% health when it's always been below 30. Final stratagem felt so shit. Yeah. Like, if you were playing the CDR weapon, I feel like doing a perfect, like, opener, I guess, is just very coggy load. Like, I think once you play this class enough, you eventually get it. But, like, just try to imagine someone that's learning how to, like, play this game and just be like, all right, bro, here's the opener. I feel like they would actually just, their brain would just melt. You know, it's just very complicated for no reason. And it, like, felt kind of bad because, like, there was never a perfect time to press it where it didn't feel like you were gaining crazy value. Like, you were either not fully extending, like, your second charges of stealth after you used it, or you were actually using it before you actually even used that ability, so you weren't getting CDR on that. It just felt like it was just a little too much going on, probably. Veil of Shadows has been removed. I don't even remember what that is. Don't tell me. I think that's the defensive node, actually, and then they just kind of removed those from all talent trees. Making that up, though. Each time your Seething Poison deals damage to an enemy, has a 20% chance to erupt, dealing damage to all nearby enemies. Boring. Magic Ward been removed. Definitely that's what that is. Hemotoxin redesigned. Thank God. When your Queen's Fang and Arachnid Assault deals direct damage to an enemy that has both of your poisons and bleed active on them, you instantly deal additional poison damage to them. Per comma point spent, Queen's Fang deals damage equal to 0.6% of the active hemorrhaging strike bleed, and then a little bit less for the AoE one. So this is what I believe. I believe new Hemotoxin is... Like, the build is, like, Malevolence, Hemotoxin, a bit of the bleed stuff, and then probably some combination of, like, Deadly Scheme, Assassin's Guile, Feed the Queen, maybe some energy stuff if you need it, or Corrosive Spill if it was buffed by enough. And that, to me, just felt not great. But that's just my opinion, like, purely subjective, right? Like, I know a lot of Mara players, every season they're like, bro, bleed build's back. And I'm like, if it's bleed build, I'm going to kill myself. And they're like, oh, bleed build's actually amazing. Like, I hate Malevolence. And I'm like, bro, you and me don't see the game the same way. It's all good, though. All right, so cool. Not playing that class. The boots have been moved to wrist. I believe that's because all legendaries need to be a socket slot now. The initial damage of accumulated poison damage has been reduced to 25%. All right, yeah, I'm not playing this class. Move to ring slot, rename to this. And then the cape. Yeah, get me out of here. Up next, 4 classes I don't care about. I actually have played Rhyme a fair amount. I kind of like Rhyme. Rhyme is the class I like to play in this game when I'm trying to play like an absolute bot and not think about anything. Yeah, I'm just too Gundi pilled now. Nothing else sounds fun. The next part is healer changes. The general changes in the store. Got it. Okay, so don't care about any healers ever. What are you playing, Lara? Are you I know you played Sylvie a lot on the test. Are you still slamming Sylvie? New store skins. Let's fucking lock in on this. Added a new skin for... Okay, buying this. There's no way his name is pronounced Gundi. Nah, for sure not. Just like the same way that one affix isn't called G-Horn, but it's like definitely called G-Horn to me. His name's probably Gorn, and Gundi's name is probably Gunda. But, like, I don't know, man. It's just not at the same time. Oh, my God, the summer skin. Let's go. Inflatable shark mount. Holy fuck, blow me the fuck up. Where do you get that? How do you get that? Bro, that's me. That's actually me, though. Okay, we changed some improvements to bad luck protection system for items we're giving out. Keep in mind the dungeons have a limited list of items they can drop. If you are not getting any boots, it's a good idea to check the game finder or dungeon codex to see the dungeon you are running has boots on its drop list. Oh, that's actually a good shout. I have, like, basically never thought of that. Like, when I zone into a dungeon, I have absolutely never looked at its loot pool and been like, well, let's see what dungeon we want to do. Oh, wait, I need this item. Oh, let's do it. I haven't done that, but maybe I should. But I'm not going to. If it didn't drop, the game's bad. Stat squish. We've adjusted the stat squish to players have their highest level characters. Oh, please. This feels just so bad. Like, it felt... I understand kind of why... I'm not going to rant again about this. Everyone has heard my rant about this. I'm not ranting about it again. I just think anytime I interact with stat squishing or, like, getting scaled down, downscaling, it is so unbelievably unfun. So let's see. The squish is now based on gear equipped. If you take off gear, you will get less squished. If you take off all gear, you will not get squished in a contender 1 difficulty even. I mean, what does this even do? Allocated talents have an effect on the squish now. We have tuned the squish to be rather kind. I mean, I don't know. I'm over it. Dude. Like, I don't understand why a stat squish needs to exist at all, personally. But I think it exists for maybe people who are not like me. Like, here, okay. We don't want you to run low-level dungeons. Cool. Make it more worth it for me to run high-level dungeons, and then I have no reason to do that. Right? Great. That solves that problem. But what happened to me during the test, even, is, like, Dorky logs off because he just does stuff sometimes. And I'm like, all right, I need to play with the tank. T1 is at Contender 1, and we're in Paragon. All right, cool. Let me, like, boost up T1. I did less damage on my Paragon character than I did, and I checked my VOD for this, than I did when I was a fresh level 1 with 4 level 1 items on, literally no pieces of gear or talents. I did more damage trying to just boost T1 up than someone who was a fresh character, right? Now, obviously, they've adjusted it. It's supposed to be more kind. It just... RMT boost. Bro, who was doing, like, maybe boosting in this game is a rampant issue that I'm unaware of, right? But I just fucking hate this so much. I will never understand an argument why it's good, why it needs to exist. Clearly they do. They think it needs to exist. Hopefully I never have to deal with this ever. It sucks so bad. Okay, we've been pushing features until right at the last second. As things have been in flux, we're not been able to lock out our text. Like, much of the new context is there before. Unfortunately, be untranslated. Yeah. All right, that's it, I think. All right, now the other thing to do today is potentially look at some... Okay, question from the geniuses who play this game a lot more than I do. What do you guys think is good? Like, if you were to, like, craft, like, here's the team that we think is gonna fucking own this season. This is the best tank. This is the best healer. Or, like, mention, like, are there any characters that suck? Sylvie, Helena, Rhyme, Gundi. Something like that. I mean, I'm playing Gundi no matter what. I'm not changing what I'm playing, but Helena, Gundi, any healer. W. I do like the Sylvie love, though. That's nice. Is double healer not meta? Um, so you can, I don't know if it's still like really fucking insane or not, but above Eternal 20, you don't even show up on the leaderboard, but low key, I don't care. I think I'd like to play Holy Trinity just because I feel like that's what God intended. You know, but I don't care about not showing up on the leaderboard at all. So if we want to run like some double healer bullshit, I'm fucking down, but it would have to be sick. Now I need to figure out what I think Gundi's like gear is gonna look like. Let's craft. First of all, before I do this, is there a version of like any website that allows you to like kind of create like what your gear could look like with updated blessings and traits and shit like that? I'm really assuming the answer is no, but if not, we're gonna have to do it on Notepad, right? Doesn't have any new shit. All right, we're actually doing a Notepad. Why not? What I expect is played most is Helena, Gundi, Rhyme, Sylvie. What actually is probably best is Xavian, Gundi, Rhyme, whatever healer. You think Xavian's better than Helena? I mean, I don't know anything about this. I just know that people who played it on the test said they weren't like super happy with it. But maybe it's like something that gets a lot better later. Okay, so how many pieces of gear can roll a blessing, right? So, I mean, we can just list it, right? A weapon can only have 2, right? And then I think everything else is like, what, like helm, shoulders, cloak, legs, boots. These are all, I think everything is 3. Neck, ring. Oh, there's bracers up here somewhere. Am I missing an item slot? Oh, I'm definitely missing an item slot. What am I missing? Gloves, maybe? Yeah, on the left side. Oh, chest as well. Look at that. Oh, and relics. 2 relics. Relics and necks are 2. You have 35 modifier slots plus 5 weapon traits. Yee. I'll probably ignore the weapon traits for now, because at least early that's like kind of you get what you get. But maybe I'll look at that. Actually, I'll put weapon at the bottom so we can look at that more. Max, Fellow Tools has the new stuff. I feel like you're lying to me. Oh, this is Fellow's Guide. What's Fellow Tools? It just, doesn't even exist. There's not even a website called Fellow Tools. What am I looking at? It's Fellow Tools with a .app. Fellow Tool .app. And not found. Fellow Tools .app? Found it. I got hacked though. Okay, route planner, character planner. Pick a class. Gundi. Work in progress. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. This is missing, like, infinite, right? This is not updated. I knew you fucking made it up. I knew you made it up. Okay. Wait, click the thing. Okay. You can add things. What? I feel like I'm wasting my time, but let's figure this out. I feel like we should just do it on Notepad, bro. To be honest with you. I feel like even looking at it by piece is not relevant because like you don't care what pieces they're on. But I just want to like actually get it right. Someone said you had 35 so you have 35 mod slots and then 5 weapon traits. Which basically is just like what you really care about here is like the 2 blues and the perp. All right, so I believe 2 of the 35 need to be gem essence set. This is like BIS, right? Let's just like try to create what we think BIS might be. 2 is the gem essence set. Wait, let me make more space here. Max is Gundi, single target, looking better with the changes. I don't know. It felt good to me, but maybe it's not. But at any time your single target can be... I think like with Spirit, your single target will feel a lot better just from like just Odin blood sacks, you know? Like as long as you're going into every boss with 150 and your ult... I mean, yeah, maybe it's weak. I don't know. It's probably weak. You probably want the execute set too. Let's go over things you definitely want first. You can add gems and stuff with the plus mod buttons on the equipment with that site. No, I'm too stupid. I'm too stupid to use that site, unfortunately. So are we thinking 4x the philosopher? Philosopher. That is not how you spell that. Spelling, yeah, please fix this. That is, but are we going to have enough spirit for that, though? Interesting. How many haste do we want? You can you have how many pieces, and you can only have 2 haste on every piece, no more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You can have 26 haste bonuses if you want. Let's lock that in. Which I'm sure it would be way too much in Regal gear. So in Regal Eternal gear. So you probably wouldn't want that much. This is like maybe just like what you fill it out with. So maybe another set is good. Can't you do something very dumb with like 10, 10, 10 gems? Yes, that's why I'm thinking you're gonna... Don't you need 2 essence bonus things to do 10, 6, 6? Right? You'll have 3,000 total gem essence with just... Or no, that would be 50% more. There's no essence bonus this season. Yeah, I know that. What I meant essence bonus is like you're getting 25% extra from the set. So if you have that and you have 2,000 from your 4 gems, right, that's 2,500, which is enough to get 2 10s and a 5. So to get 2 10s and a 6, you need 1 gem essence. That would be what? Blue, purple, and then either red 6 or yellow 6. You'd need 4 100. Is that actually how that works out? Is Philosopher actually... I don't think I'm going to have enough spirit, honestly. 1200 and 1200 gets you 1500 on both. Oh, you're right. Because it doesn't... I'm looking at the 2500 bonus, but that wouldn't split evenly. You would need to finish the 10, right? So if you're looking at like the fellowship patch notes, I think it was part 1, maybe 2. Where's the gem thing? Here we go. Okay, so yeah, 10 is 1500. But with, if you have 2 gems, like 2 gem types, let's say it's like blue and purple, and you have 1,000 of that in there, plus you get the 25% bonus, you're gonna get node 9, basically. Isn't that right? Don't you get node 9 with just the 3 gems? Or wouldn't maybe the best play be... No, that's not true. So wait, you need a lot. You need a lot of gem set bonuses. You need like 6, right? To get to 1500? You need 3 for each one to get it to 10? That seems really inefficient. That makes me kind of want to do 110 and a lot more 6s, right? Because 2 for 10? I don't know, am I crazy? It says, so you're going to have 1250 from the 2 flawless gems plus the set bonus. Right? Which means if you only had 2... Oh, wait, I'm forgetting. The gem set bonus is also buffing the gem things from 150, or from 100 to 125. Yeah, that's what I was missing. I thought they were still 100. W. Okay, that's easy. That's actually way easier. And then how many do you need? And then if you want a 6 of something, so 4 gem bonuses, and then it's split 2 and 2 of whatever your gems are. Let's say 2 perp, 2 blue. Maybe you only do blue 10. Maybe you don't actually play... Maybe it's actually perp or like blue 10 and then it's like 3 6s. How hard would it be to do that? Dude, having a website for this would be fucking incredible. Okay, so we only have 10 of the 35 gone by things we think. Okay, so what other blessings do we think are good that are going to be worth it? Do you care about the Herald? Is it worth to have 4 of the Herald? Probably, right? Like if you're playing with a rhyme, if you're playing with a rhyme, I feel like you maybe want this because you'll be able to ult in the first pack. It'll just be late. Like if it's a high key and they'll be ulting early, or maybe whatever. I think you want whatever it is here that lets you just like fully alternate. Maybe we just do that for the Herald. Fuck it, throw it in there. So the Sinister is kind of interesting. This will just make it so every single time you press Heart Splitter, it's going to have 20% increased critical strike power and 4% increased critical strike chance. And I guess maybe you're not taking the 100% bonus under 30 anymore. So this would feel maybe not great. Dude, I feel like the Wayfarer's sick. Personally. Let's go for the Wayfarer, bro. Give me that haste. We can move it away later. I just don't know actually like how much like actual bonuses you're going to want to run of like stats before you DR. Because like I think in a perfect world you get a lot of your stats from just tempering items that have like haste as a baseline. Wayfarer's kind of bait. You need 40% uptime, otherwise you can just take the Tuzari set and save 2 modifiers. Ooh, I wasn't even thinking about the Tuzari set. Wait, what other sets would we want to run? Maybe Heart of Tuzari? Is Tuzari the one where you get a main stat increase when you're in your ult? That's the one where 4% haste and 20% move speed. Isn't that one of the smaller? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that just gives you haste. Actually, I kind of like that. Because, like, pretty much no matter when you get haste on this class, it feels really good. Right? So, 2 ransack set. Or no. Isn't a ransack kind of sick too? Wait, I kind of want all of them. 2 ransack, bucket. 2, wait, what's the Wraithtide one? Is that the one? One of them's like a cheat death one. I don't think that one's that great. That's the heal one? Nah, fuck that. Ooh, 4% main stat. With the way High Eternal will be kind of goated. I haven't even looked at like what the very best neck traits are, but I've just looked at some of them that just look so crazy. Wait, isn't Gem Essence? Isn't that where's this from? Are these like considered one of the smaller ones because they're from the new dungeons? Okay, so Ransack, Tuzari, Gem Essence, and then I guess you could run Haste or Spirit. I think the Spirit one's probably better, right? Because Spirit, I mean, I feel like the damage to mobs under 30% is just, even though I think I'd probably prefer Haste to Spirit, I think the second part of that bonus is like way better. Actually, move speed, not bad though. I feel like move speed maybe a little underrated. Maybe it's either 2 haste / spirit adventure set. I like that. Oh, 1 second. Hamish said, looking like the team are targeting 5 a.m. for servers going live, so I'd say that's best to sleep before blasting. Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. Yeah, that's massive information. Bro, could you imagine if I actually did stay up and then they got delayed? Holy fuck. Actually shoot me in the head. Holy fuck, blow me the fuck up. Later start would be a great idea. I'm not starting any later than that. Okay, so that makes it a little easier. So 8 slots to sets. That's going to be really hard to pull off, though, because that's so, like, piece specific, you know? Like, especially early in the season, trying to get all of your sets like this is going to definitely reduce the amount of good stuff you get other places, because like instead of just getting any single like helm in the game, you're kind of tied into having one of these be a helm, most likely, right? And then like the likelihood that that specific piece also rolls other things besides the set is like really hard, right? But I mean, if you're doing Eternal 30 and you're doing one of these dungeons, you're getting 5 fucking pieces of gear or something. So I feel like if you were to just spam that, it actually wouldn't be that bad. Unless you use cloak. No, Gundi uses cloak, so you would be able to wear 2 small sets. If you get green named item with the same name as the tier set, you can epic dust it to get the tier set. Oh, interesting. Okay, so 8, 12, 16, 20, although Wayfarer, not that sure. So 16, 20. So we have 20 out of 35, and then 35 is just best thing we can get. So like some combination of crit, spirit, and haste before DR, preferably haste. And then if we end up running a lot of spirit, like I don't know, like I feel like this is worth so many stats. It's worth like that's so good, man. But you truly need like 4 of these before it comes good. And you is this for Gundi or Mara? I mean, I feel like this is good for everyone unless you think Spirit is terrible. I think we plan on really doing the Philosopher, but we're gonna need a lot more Spirit on our gear though. Dude, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about the Gundi talents again. Let me figure out the Gundi talents here. Let's also break out the notepad. All right, we got 14 talents to spend. This was really easy for me in testing, but they made a few changes that have changed my mind a little bit. So like, Grim Harvest required, Carnage required. There's 5. Things that feel required after this are Bloodbath and Frenzied Rain. So, Bloodbath, Frenzied Rain. I've always played Crimson Strikes, but I'm not sure how high up that actually goes on my value list here. Massacre's kind of interesting for the Wayfarer if you didn't have a lot of spirit, but the problem is you'd be pressing your slaughter, and that wouldn't be giving you... Wait, what is that considered major? Major slaughter is major. I wonder if this talent, like if it procs the Wayfarer after you have 25% spirit or before. Right? Because wouldn't that be a pretty free way to gain like a lot of extra stats? Hold on, I feel like am I cooking with gas or dog shit here? Because that has anyone tested this? It is 2 points. It's a lot of talent points, but I think as I'm about to show you, I feel like you could, if you don't take Oath Shatter, I think you can take that. And Oath Shatter keeps seeming worse and worse, especially with the Darkening Hearts nerf. Okay. Blood Craze, 3. All right, what are we up to now? 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 10. So we have 4 points remaining after this. So if we wanted all of this, we couldn't even take Oath Shatter and Darkening Hearts. It's actually impossible. So okay, so let's call this an Oath Shatter build. Oath Shatter build, you don't actually take Blood Craze, I don't think. I think you have to take Oath Shatter, which gives you 10, right? Blood Craze got nerfed by like 30% from the creator test, right? Yeah, but especially if you're playing a lot of Spirit, I think you're going to be getting this more than you think. Like, I think you're popping 150 stacks, like, kind of a lot, bro. And sometimes it maybe be like 120, 130, because you just don't want to, like, keep holding, you know? I feel like I don't know. I think, like, Blood Craze, like, kind of keeps getting better, right? Because, like, as much as your Blood Feather production is growing, it's, like, gaining a lot, right? But Oath Shatter build, I think, needs to include Darkening Hearts. Like, the value is just there, you know? And now we have 2 more points, I believe. So where do you effectively spend 2 points that buff all of this? So Deep Rend, unless I just fundamentally don't understand this because they just nerfed it and I already thought it was bad, it's probably Harvester's Toll. Is it Harvester's Toll Crimson Strikes? Harvester's Toll. Is there any 2-pointers? Seem definitely not Death's Arc. I highly doubt Raven's Precision, but I'm not like super sure of like the overall on that. Harvester's Toll, Slayer's Grin. I mean, if Slayer's Grin, among everything else, plus Cloak allows you to actually get Rupture up for every slaughter, right, which would mean you would need 30 seconds of CDR on Rupture via a bunch of different means, then that gains a lot of value, right? Maybe it is that. Am I I don't know if I'm cooking with gas. I don't know if I necessarily like this build because it doesn't run Blood Craze, but yeah. So no Oath build is, most of this is the same, except you get 5 free points, 3 of which, actually, you wouldn't even have 5 3 points, you would have 2, basically. Blood Craze is 3. No Oath Shatter, no Darkening Hearts. Is it... is it still just Harvester's Toll? Is it Harvester's Toll, Slayer's Grin? And then it's either playing Massacre if that interaction works with the Wayfarer. So it's either Massacre if it works with Wayfarer, and if not... Let me actually ask in the Discord right now, see if anyone actually tested this. Has anyone tested whether Massacre happens before the Wayfarer? And then let me screenshot the Wayfarer. The Wayfarer is in Loot 2.0. Or, sorry, the Philosopher is what I meant. Okay, according to someone, it does work, but this person didn't test themselves. Dude, I feel like that's got to be worth it. So apparently that does work, is what someone's saying. So basically, when you press slaughter, you're going to gain 25% spirit for 8 seconds, and that will apply before the philosopher. So you actually only need 25 base spirit with rank 4 of this to get the full value of this, which is, I mean, that seems, at least in this second build, you have 2 extra talent points here, right? 5, 6, 7, 10, 12. I feel like it has to be Massacre. If you have Philosopher. Did I spell it right? Yeah. Massacre 2 if Philosopher, and if not, I think you take the other 2 1 talents. I think you take Harvester's Toll plus Slayer's. Oh wait, I'm already taking those. Sorry, you would take also, if not, you take Crimson Strikes or I mean, you're kind of Superior Serration, maybe. I think you're like really scraping the barrel here at this point. It's probably just Massacre, just straight up. Are you trying out both builds, or do you have a favorite? I mean, I'll certainly be trying out both. I think they're definitely a little gear dependent too. Like for example, I think Oathshatter gains a ton of value if you've like gotten far enough into the season to have purple 6. Like actually like way more value. Wow, I actually don't know which one's better. All right, I feel pretty prepared. Right? Very excited. Although I am going to need to change my UI on live. Unless, wait, does Fellowship live servers like take your setup from like the playtest? No way, right? It does the other way around, I know. Um, oh, it does? Like when I log on Gundi, it's going to be like test Gundi. That'll actually feel so amazing. It doesn't matter where you change, it's the same profile. Ooh, that is gas, dude. Oh my god. Oh, that's so nice. Okay, now the other thing I need is, has anyone and I highly doubt this, has anyone updated this game's MDT? Protected tool. Okay. Has anyone Oh, route planner is locked for about 24 hours after the patch. Finding new dungeon layouts yourself is half the fun. Oh, okay, that's why it's locked. It would be NDA, so you wouldn't even be able to show it on stream. I mean, I literally streamed the test within the last week for like 2 full days and showed all of it. So it might be under NDA, but it like kind of isn't. Not legal advice, what I'm doing right now, by the way. Method's working on new stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Right now, I don't think it has anything. I think it's all old. They don't even have Gundi stuff. Ooh, dungeon routes? So I'm assuming this isn't updated though. Where's one where I'll definitely know how updated it is? Oh, the beginning of Heart of Tazari. Yeah, this is old. This pack isn't here anymore. I mean, if I really wanted to make dungeon routes, I could open my stream from the thing and just look at the actual mobs. But I don't. It turns out I don't care that much, and that sounds super annoying. So, all right, we're done. I think I'm all set up. I'll be on tomorrow. Not when it goes live. 5 a.m.'s crazy. I'm thinking like 9 a.m., which is still really early for my cat. So I think that's probably the earliest we can go. Yeah, tonight I'm have a lot going on. We got going to see the new Toy Story movie. And also new House of the Dragon tonight too. If y'all haven't been keeping up with that. Which I feel like I understand if people were like kind of disappointed with House of the Dragon season 2, but like I feel like the reason they were is because they felt like what is going to happen in season 3 was going to kind of happen in season 2. But like, bro, I feel like the entire season 3 is just going to pop the fuck off. Just from like episode 1. Yeah, anyways. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be streaming this all day, every day. Also, if you guys are like playing solo, certainly like stick around the stream. And I'm not even saying that for like a +1. Like you should +1 my stream all the time, but for sure. But sometimes people drop and have to go, and I'll just like get people from chat who are similarly progressed, you know. So I would, if you're ever looking for a group, I would check in here as well. All right, see you later.